super exciting day, the day you buy your domain and the day you put your business out into the world of the World Wide Web. However, if you have subscribed to the Kevin Costner Field of Dreams business strategy, I'll build it and they will come, you might be in for a bit of a rude awakening because it isn't just enough to take that milestone leap. We're going to be sitting down today on Amplify Your Marketing Message to talk about the number one mistake you are making in your website planning and how to correct it. I'm super excited to welcome our guest today, Rachel Lindteigen. She is going to talk to us about the world that she inhabits, the world of SEO and the world of actually getting traffic to your website, which is such an important part of the puzzle. Welcome to our show today.
Thank you so much for having me. And I love that you started with the Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner reference. I grew up in Iowa. I have been to Dyersville, to where the Field of Dreams is, numerous times. So what we want to talk about is your website. You've got your business, you've got your website, you've got this message. Your product can save somebody or help them or serve them. You know that you've got the answer to the problem that they need. But if you haven't done what we're going to talk about today, they're never going to find you. You, my friend, are going to remain the best kept secret on Google. And I don't want that for you, because being the best kept secret on Google does not make you money. It does not build your business. So we got to work on this and get you found on Google. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
This is such an interesting thing because we all start with, like, I've heard the term SEO. I'm terrified by it. And you don't have to usually go very far in your peer network to hear of a story gone wrong. Maybe looking for, either trying to figure out on your own, what is SEO and how do I apply it? Or worse yet, maybe you retained somebody's services and you don't know if it's working, but you paid the bill. And I have certainly someone in my network who says, a lot of that work doesn't actually get done. So let's start with the basics. What is SEO?
Yep. So starting the very basics, SEO is search engine optimization. It is a process that we go through on our websites to make them easier for Google to understand what they're about. There are very specific things that Google is going to look for on a website to help it understand the content of that site. That is what we optimize, these SEO elements or search engine optimization elements. So until we do this and really clearly help Google to understand what our website is about, Google is less likely to show it to people who are interested and searching for us because they don't fully understand it. So the very first thing you need to understand is that you need to partner with Google and help Google understand your site so that they're more likely to show it to additional people, because SEO, when done right, is the know of your like, know, and trust, because SEO drives targeted, relevant traffic directly to you once you've helped Google understand what your site is about and they trust you and want to share it with people.
I think this is so fascinating because it's a great parallel to the truth that, your audience is more than one thing. And, your audience is, of course, the people that are coming into your space, but your audience is also Google, and Google is the translator. And I think this is such an important distinction, is you need to understand what is Google looking for in the same way that you need to be thinking, what is your client looking for? And here's a hint. It shouldn't be so generic that I can't distinguish you from the millions of others that do the same thing. If you fall into that trap, it's very, very hard to be found. And one of the things we talk about a lot in the Business Skill Accelerator is your number one thing is to build the audience that already exists and turn it towards you. SEO is the roadmap to doing it. So I love that you really talk about get to know what Google is looking for. So what does Google look for? Tell me what we should be at least aware of from a top line perspective here.
Well, I want to dig right back into that super quick. So I want you to reframe how you think about Google. So we all think of Google as a search engine because it is. It's a huge search engine. They get 97% of all web search traffic. Like, they're huge. But what I want you to think about is the person searching in Google is not your customer yet. Even when they first see your website, they are Google's customer. And the only way Google is going to maintain their market share and their business, and let's be real, Google's main business is ads. And the only way they're going to be able to sell all of their ads is to continue to give really good, targeted, relevant search results. So you have to earn Google's trust. And the way you do that is by having excellent content and really making sure that it is targeted for your ideal customer and that you're providing value. So Google and your ideal customer want the same thing. They want really good content that's helpful, that's in depth, that gives information and insights, and really showcases your product or service, your business, your expertise. Then, in order for Google to take that information and start to trust you and share it with others, that's where your SEO comes in. You have to do the optimization to get traffic to the content. So the optimization are things like choose a keyword. So your very first thing that I want you to do is choose a keyword. Now, not just any keyword. This is honestly the most important and the hardest part of all of SEO is understanding which keyword to choose. And this is where I see more mistakes. And this is the area that just gets my students for weeks. We have questions every time we go through the class. We have lots of questions about keywords because it's that important. You're going to choose a keyword that your ideal customer uses, that your website can also rank for. And you need to have the ability to rank on page 1 for that keyword to get traffic. Because think about your own search habit. When is the last time you looked at page 2? Nobody looks at page 2 unless you are specifically looking for something that you wrote. No customer is looking at page 2. So you need to use that keyword that you can rank for that your ideal customer is using. Then you need to put that in all the places Google's going to look. So it needs to go in your content, and it needs to be helpful, relevant, targeted content. It needs to anticipate their questions. It needs to give them answers and insights and not just regurgitation information that they could get somewhere else. Then it needs to go in your URL. If it's like a blog post or a page, it's really good to include it in the URL. Then it should go in the title of the piece. It should go in your title tag and your meta description. Those are both SEO elements that actually show up in the Google search. So they don't show up on your web page, they show up in Google, and they're what invites somebody to come learn more and come to your website. They should be included in your copy, in your header tags. Header tags are the big ones, bigger print, bigger font that separate your paragraphs out on your blog post or on your page. It should be included in your image file names. So your pictures, I don't want you to ever put a picture on your website again that's like image 678, anything like that. We're going to use our keyword in our image file name. And if you want a little extra bonus, put your business name in there too, because that way the next time somebody's searching for your business, they're going to start seeing all of those images as well in Google image search. There's a lot of traffic there. So the little thing you want to know with file names is you want to use the dash, the one that looks like a minus sign in between each word, because Google reads those as a space.
Oh, that's a fantastic tip. And I think that we often think, well, I put it in one place. And what you're saying is there's many places. So you need to have a strategy. This is a really important one. And I actually did hear that tip from my business coach when I was early in my days, talking about those pictures and making sure that if you are working with a team, whether it's yourself, a virtual assistant, or someone in your business, saying you must give clear instructions so that we all sing from the same song sheet, because singing from the same song sheet in all of those touch points helps root the confidence level of Google to say, I'm in the right place. The other thing I heard you say that I want to linger on, because I think it's brilliant, is it's not enough for the computer to read it. They're measuring you on, does the human get what they need? Because when they get what they need, Google gets a gold star and says, I did a good job, you'll keep coming back to me, which is their goal.
Exactly.
And Google your client has, which is, I want to be able to read this and get it and understand it and tell me your point of view so that I know one really important thing. I'm in the right room.
Well, and more than that, Google knows if your audience gets it because we all use Google Analytics. So they look at numbers within Google Analytics that in the industry we refer to as your engagement metrics. They look at your bounce rate. How many people come and consume one piece of content and leave? They look at your exit rate. How many people leave from that particular page? They look at your click-through rate. How many people see your listing and even click on it versus not click on it? Google has all that information. So those sites that have better engagement metrics, that have more time on site, lower bounce rates, all of that, they're going to more likely show up higher in the search engines. The ranking algorithm is Google's secret sauce. There are thought to be over 200 factors in it. So we have a good idea of what goes into it, but we don't know everything. They don't tell us everything, but they tell us enough that we know the main things are create really great content that's helpful. Like their last major algorithm update was actually called the helpful content algorithm update. So make sure your content is helpful. Make sure that you have built links and quality links. Make sure that you are providing value to your customer. Don't ever write for the search engine, just write for your customer, and you will do okay if you're targeting the right keyword. That's going to be the core thing right there.
And that's where you and I connected, because one of the things, I mean, I see a ton of SEO people out there. I do think it's an essential element. It comes as an essential element in my path when I'm coaching clients to say, once you have clarity, because clarity is what drives the keyword. Who are you solving for? We call them the so what factors. It's not enough just to educate, because you're one of many people that is educating on a topic, and Google knows that because they have thousands of pages of results. What they want to know is, so what? What's the lens? What's the interpretation? What does it help me make a decision around? And in decisions, in movement, is more and more engagement. So I think that's fantastic, because it really does tie us. When you and I first had a conversation, it was like, please don't write like a robot. And we talk a lot about robots now, and said, honestly, I want to know as a consumer, I'm in the right place. I want to know what result and see it and go, yes, that's what I'm looking for. How do I get there? What step do you want me to take?
Absolutely.
And keep getting me to take steps, because that is going to help you in your engagements. And funny story, 100 years ago, I met the owner of Google before Google became Google. And he is a super smart guy, and that algorithm is always changing. And he said, I am smarter than everyone in this room. I will always stay ahead of you trying to game the system. So what I hear you say is, don't try to game the system, understand the structure, play to it, but serve as a person, because that's ultimately which will help you with the conversion rates and seeing more success with leads convert to sales, which is ultimately the big goal you are searching for when you decided to launch yourself into the World Wide Web, right?
Absolutely. You cannot cheat your way to the top. You could 10, 12 years ago, because the algorithm was new. We talked about it, I remember, at a conference in 2012. They were talking about it. Think of Googlebot, which is the name for the algorithm, or the name for their search engine spider. Think about Googlebot as a toddler and a young child. You have to take it hand by hand and, show it how to do all the different things. Well, Googlebot has evolved over the years, and Google has stayed ahead of the curve. 10, 12 years ago, you could rank a website for any keyword you wanted just by getting links and having them all target the same keyword. And so you could make it happen. You could put any old website. Some of the guys that I worked with said, in like late 2000s, even before 2010, they had jobs where they would run a contest to see who could rank a website for a specific keyword the fastest. And it was just about buying links and doing all of this stuff. And then Google got really smart, because Google realized these are not the most relevant search results. These are not the best search results. This is not what we want. Then we had another algorithm update that came out that really focused on the quality of the content. And this was like 2012. So we had Panda and Penguin, and I never can remember which is which. We got attacked by black and white animals in the like 2010, 2012 timeframe. One was all about links, one was all about content. The way it is today, and the way it's been for the past decade, is write great content, focus on providing value for your audience, build links naturally. If you cheat, cheaters don't win. Don't ever buy links. Just don't. So right now, rather than buying links, the big thing is AI content. Can I use ChatGPT to create all my content for me? No, you can't. No. So Google doesn't want AI content. Google wants human content written for humans. You can use ChatGPT to help you and to speed up the process. And there's a lot of things you can do to leverage it. But do not open a browser window and ask it to write you a blog post and paste that to your website or blog if you care at all about your business,
Your ranks.
your results, your rankings, any of it. Do not do that. You can learn how to use it and leverage it to make things faster, but do not post AI content, copy paste, and think you're done. Don't do it.
I think there was a really important, I love that. Please thank you for singing from the choir, because I am definitely in alignment with that. Humans to human is how we grow business. Never lose sight of that. Technology, while they love it, is not going to be out of, removing you from the equation. And there was an interesting comment there about the quality of the links. Quality never goes out of style, ever. And it is important to think about, when you're establishing not only your web presence, but your expert presence. It's not enough for you just to craft all these pieces and say, I'm done. It is about joint venture. It is about endorsement. It is about social proof. And that's really also coming into the quality, which is, think about where you can have a good place that has high credibility, could endorse you through a collaborative opportunity, does help your overall quality, because you are haloed by quality. In the same way, don't go cheap and try to game the system, because you absolutely could damage your reputation in a nanosecond, which is you've spent years trying to build. And the web, remember, has a memory. You might not have this today. Start today. That's the message I'm hearing loud and clear. Because if you do not focus or even realize that SEO is essential, what is the number one mistake we make?
We don't do it. We're afraid of it. We think we can do it later. I know from the clients I talk to and the students who come into my programs, they're afraid of it. And so my mission is to make it feel easier to understand and comprehend, because it is not outside of anybody's pay level, pay grade. And I've heard that so many times. I'm here just to help break it down and make it easier to understand, because it is the single most powerful marketing channel. And when done right, pairing SEO, your search engine optimization, and your content together, it will drive traffic across all of your channels. And if you're doing it the way I teach, that you're creating content that has an audience that is looking for that content, and you're optimizing it so you're helping it get found by the right people, which brings them to your website, your blog, even your social media channels. Every piece of content that you create should all be working together to grow your business.
I think that's brilliant advice. And remember, the reason why the website is so important is because it's the ecosystem you control. And remember, one of the great things we heard here on a previous episode, we talked about owning your own voice. The algorithm is the landlord that you pay rent to. It changes all the times, the terms of it. So build your website. Make sure you're looking at the collaborations you can do to enhance quality by being a good human. It's been fantastic to learn from you about SEO, and I hear the message loud and clear. Not optional, guys. And if you need some support, we are going to recommend you connect to Rachel. But I also want to ask you, because this is a really important thing we do here on the program of Amplify Your Marketing Message. It's asking business owners who are successful in their fields, amplify what's working for you right now. Talk to us as a business owner. What's working in your business to see growth and the right kind of people finding you in your ecosystem?
You're probably not going to be surprised at all by my answer. It is my content and my search engine optimization. It's having the right content across all channels. It's getting it out there, whether it's through Google, through social, through podcast interviews like this. It's letting people come into my world, find me, and connect. So SEO brings them to you. Your content is what helps nurture them and builds that like and that trust factor once they know who you are through SEO. So it's things like this where people get a chance to come in and listen for a few minutes and find out, oh gosh, this really is important and she's not scary. And that's what builds my business.
I love that, because one of the things we say here and why we encourage you to subscribe to this podcast is because these are business owners that I'm inviting in who are walking their talk. I'd love for people to find out, how do they reach out and connect to see you in action?
Absolutely. So my website is etchedmarketing.com. I have some great freebies there to help you get started right now. There's actually a tab, freebies. You can get my SEO content quick start guide, which is going to walk you through all those elements that we talked about briefly. It's going to tell you exactly what to do and what the rules are for Google. There's also a free SEO class that you can take. It's on demand, so you just sign up when you're ready for it. And then you can find me across social at Etched Marketing Academy. And I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube. You can find me any of those places. If you have a question, DM me on Instagram. I'm most active over there. I'd love to chat with you and help you with your SEO and content marketing.
Guys, you should definitely take her up on that invitation. Go take those free resources and help move your business forward. This is it. This is another amazing episode. Thank you, Rachel, for being our guest today. If you are concerned at all about SEO, we hope this has shed some light on it. It's not as scary as you think. It is an important part of your journey to amplify your marketing message. We will see you all on our next episode. See you soon.